It's a brand new day. Oh boy. How's it going, everyone? My name is Cyan, and welcome to the StarQuest Studios channel where we feed your appetite for films. Today, we are reviewing Spider-Man Brand New Day. Brand New Day is directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, and it is the fourth installment of the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Spider-Man franchise. Peter Parker devotes his life to protecting New York City as a full-time Spider-Man, but as the demands on him intensify, the pressure sparks a surprising physical evolution that threatens his existence, even as a strange new pattern of crimes gives rise to one of the most powerful threats he has ever faced. The film takes place 4 years after the events of Spider-Man No Way Home, where Peter Parker, played by Tom Holland, wished for everyone to forget about him in order to save his whole universe. Peter has been alone for all 4 years, being your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Spidey himself is an amazing protagonist to follow. We get to follow him in his new life as he continuously helps the people of New York, and this time, he's got no Iron Man or Doctor Strange with him. He's Spider-Man. He is doing so much of the saving alone. The first 20 or 30 minutes of the film reminded me of the PS4 game's beginning, and I really loved it. After the home trilogy, the audience, myself included, have been begging for Spider-Man to go back to being street level, and this movie was one of the best ways to go back to basics. It almost feels like a reintroduction for the character. As we know from the trailers, Peter's powers start to evolve. His sentences are heightened, his webs become organic, and his strength becomes even stronger. We get to see Holland's Peter figure out his powers, something that was absent from the home trilogy, which, in my opinion, is fine that we didn't have to go through an origin story again, but it was great to see him figure out his evolved powers. We saw him struggling to use his new organic webs. He crashed into a flock of pigeons, for God's sakes, and that was really funny. But there's also levels to this. As Peter's powers are becoming more spider-like, he's having to learn to be human again after losing his Aunt May. He's understandably scared of letting people into his life because he wants to protect them, which leads me to how they handled MJ and Ned's return. Zendaya and Jacob Batalon showed up big time for what I'd say was probably their best performance in all of these movies. And without going into spoilers, I want to say that I love the direction that they took for the relationship between Peter and MJ rather than taking the easy way out. They presented a very realistic and honest portrayal of what would happen based on the consequences of the last film. I also like that this time, Ned does take a back seat, but he is still obviously acknowledged as a very important person in Peter's life. Now, I want to take a minute and talk about this suit. My God, it is gorgeous! The best part is that Peter spends the majority of the movie with the suit on, and the mask finally stays on. Oh my God. It's common knowledge that this new suit was inspired by Tobey's and Andrew's suits after Tom met them in No Way Home. It worked out beautifully. The red and blue pop out so much. The wrinkles are visible. It just feels like a suit that you can actually touch. It is a suit that Peter Parker made. I've always been open to my friends about my favorite Spider-Man suit, and it's always been the 2004 suit from Spider-Man 2. Andrew's TASM 2 suit is also fantastic and so sexy. I can't lie though, Brand New Day suit might actually compete with the 2004 suit as my favorite. I'm not even kidding. It's not a CGI fest, and we get all the chances in the world to see Spidey just talk to people in this suit. I look at it, and I'm just so happy with how right they got it. The expressive lenses also add to it, and I'm actually just really happy that they kept them. It also looks so good in action and swinging. I'm sorry, I'm just so happy with how it turned out. Like, Speaking of swinging, this is some of the best swinging we have gotten since The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And I seriously do not know what John Watts was doing in the home trilogy. Destin clearly understood the assignment. Like, we get this really cool like shoulder shot of Spider-Man swinging, and it's like that was the exact moment I realized, oh yeah, Destin understood. He knows Spider-Man. The action also takes a big improvement, I'd say. It becomes a lot more hand-to-hand combat. These battles don't take place in big landmarks, with only a few exceptions. It's clear that they prioritized a lot of stunts and practicality, with only a bit of CGI shots for stuff they clearly couldn't get practically, which was used perfectly, I'd say. I had a lot of fun watching the brawling happening, and obviously, Destin has directed, Shang-Chi and Wonder Man, so I think it was already known that he was going to be working on the choreography for this film and trying to figure out what new stuff to do in this film. There's actually a move from the PS4 game pretty much in the final battle with the hand. And dude, I was so happy. It's one of the most badass moments in the entire movie. And also one of the most creative ways to use organic webbing. I didn't think that you could do something like that. Now, I do want to say that we of course get other Marvel characters in this film. We get Punisher, Hulk, and Black Widow. So Brand New Day does double down on Spidey encountering other Marvel heroes, but it's very clear that this is a Spider-Man story. None of these other characters, take the spotlight. It's purely on Peter Parker himself. It does a great job on handling the other Marvel characters in this movie, especially Punisher. The relationship between Spider-Man and the Punisher is one of the most fun dynamics I have seen in a Spider-Man film. They do really feel like a big brother, little brother dynamic. All this is not to say that the movie stars from Spider-Man villains though. We get a fair share of them, like Tombstone and Boomerang, and most notably, Scorpion. I must say that you should not go into this movie expecting either of them to have big roles, although Scorpion is just a small part of the film's mystery. Although it was great seeing Michael Mando finally don the Scorpion outfit after 9 years of waiting, and I'd say it was definitely worth the wait. I do hope that we get to see him again because we definitely haven't seen the full potential of Scorpion. Now the villain. I cannot talk about that yet. But what I can't say is that the main conflict is this greater mystery. An entity is hopping from head to head, possessing them, taking control of their bodies and words. So Spider-Man works with Jean DeWolf to figure out what is happening. I will also say I also like the, relationship between Spidey and Jean DeWolf. I was really happy to see Jean finally, make her debut in one of these Spider-Man films. I think it was a long time coming. One of my favorite things about Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies is that New York feels like a character itself. We get random extras that get a personality and shows what New York is about. I'm happy to report is that we finally get that in Brand New Day. We actually get to see Spidey interact with some of the New Yorkers, and even thanks to this mind-hopping entity, we get to see these New Yorkers, and I'm really happy that they finally did this again. Now, I know the trailers don't do it justice, but the cinematography was amazing. The home trilogy all mostly felt like they were just MCU-ified. Well, of course, they're in the MCU. There were still some good shots, but Destin decided to add a lot more style and color to this film. The colors are vibrant. They were certain shots that looked absolutely beautiful. It wasn't afraid to look like a film with passion. The movie did not play it safe at all. So much of the lighting choices just wowed me in a great way. It's a movie filled with personality. It's the best that Spidey has looked in over a decade, I'd say. Now, something I'm a little neutral on is the music. Michael Giacchino returns to score his 4th Spider-Man film. I think his new rendition of the Spider-Man theme is great. Sweet New Day is a great piece, but the score feels more absent this time around. It's not as loud or grand as it was in the Home Trilogy, and I can't even lie, I actually like the Home Trilogy's soundtracks. I've grown to like them, as the years went by. There isn't really anything memorable that stuck with me this time around. I think with the direction of the film, I can definitely see what Michael Giacchino is doing, but a part of me does wish that the music was a little more involved, I guess. But you know what? Again, with the direction of the film, I think it's okay that the music feels absent to me. Maybe it's just me. Maybe other people, felt the music, but I myself, I'm like, it could have been at least a little bit grander, but you know what? I'm letting it slide. Now, what are my final thoughts on Brand New Day? I think it is one of the best superhero projects that come out this decade. It, of course, has flaws, but they're not a big deal. I'd say it's the best Spider-Man movie since Spider-Man 2. Now, do I think it tops it? That's debatable. But I can't say that I walked out of the theater with a big smile on my face. I was very happy with it, and I think many fans out there will love it too. I recommend watching Spider-Man Brand New Day. Guys, thank you so much for watching this review. I really appreciate it. I know this channel hasn't been active for a good while, but I really want to try getting more stuff out and even some short films on here. So if you'd like to see more of my rambles about films and some of my projects in the future, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads. A like will also go a long way. Anyways, that's all I have to say. Thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a great brand new day. Take care, everyone!